Hi, everyone. Dan Eisner here from ZLC Employee Benefits Solutions. My passion as an employee benefits advisor is to find better ways for employee benefits, different from those ideas used for the past 20 or 30 years. And it's this passion that drove me to develop the Better Benefits podcast series. Along with my passion, I leverage my relatively unique profile, having almost 25 years experience as an employee benefits advisor and being the only chartered professional accountant working in this industry in the local market. In this episode of the Better Benefits podcast series, I'd like to talk about some of the financial risks related to employee benefits plans, but I'd also like to talk about an opportunity for your consideration to improve your understanding of this area. So let's get started. As I already mentioned, one of the things that is unique about me as an employee benefits advisor is my background as a chartered professional accountant. It uniquely positions me to guide clients on how their benefits programs can work in tandem with their financial and strategic business goals. I'm also proud of my working relationship with the Chartered Professional Accountants of British Columbia. A few years ago, I was asked to share my advice on the topic of understanding the financial risks of employee benefits, and I wrote an article that was published in their Focus magazine. That article shed light on why business costs related to employee benefits plans are growing and where they are going. I'm also proud to have been working with them for the past 10 years on their professional development program, where I developed and teach an in-depth 3.5 hour course on this same topic. This course helps participants better understand the current reality related to employee benefits programs. In the course, I emphasize the need to recognize that a financial storm is already here, outline the costs and risks related to these programs, and most importantly, we develop strategies that are best suited to their own unique business needs. This year's edition of the course is being finalized and is part of CPABC's Summer Professional Development Program, and it's being held on July 9th, 2025. More recently, I've been asked by my clients to address this issue around the financial risk for employee benefits programs in a different way, as there's a bit of a double-edged sword when it comes to managing them. Employee benefits plans still have some significant financial risks, but these plans are also needed now more than ever at a critical time for the majority of organizations. On the one hand, the business costs related to these plans are significant and they continue to grow, historically faster than broader market inflation. There's really no relief in sight in the foreseeable future, and organizations often have a very limited strategy built around these programs. Based on research from the Conference Board of Canada, the average annual cost for an employee benefits plan in Canada was approximately $4,400 per employee back in 2018, and that's the last time they completed their full benchmarking survey. Their data showed that the average annual per capita cost for employee benefits had increased by about 6% a year between their last two surveys, which is consistent with the broader market inflation data for the employee benefits industry for the past 25 years, and as I said, much higher than broader market inflation for other business costs. So based on ZLC Employee Benefits Solutions benchmarking data over the past 6 years since that survey was done, we now estimate that the average annual per capita cost in 2024 is over $6,100. It's really hard to believe that there was once a time when we referred to this area as fringe benefits, whereas now it's often a top five corporate expenditure. As I said, there's unfortunately no relief in sight, as we expect there'll be continuing financial pressures on employee benefits, as there's a perfect storm brewing that is driving these financial risks. Essentially, we have three major elements driving this perfect storm. More employees are using these plans, they're using them more often, and they're now using them for more expensive items. So based on our experience, more than 90% of employees are now using their benefits plans, which correlates to an aging workforce and an increasingly unhealthy population in Canada. Employees are using their plans more often and for a broader array of services. So in particular, the use of paramedical services, particularly massage and mental health care, has increased significantly. And as I said, employees are using the plans for higher cost services. For example, 20 years ago, benefit plans, benefited significantly from lower priced generic drugs. But those savings have long since been exhausted. And going forward, there's little motivation for the pharmaceutical industry to develop more low-cost drugs. Instead, we're seeing many new specialty drugs that cost $15,000 to $50,000 per year or more. So the financial risks related to employee benefit programs are real, but on the other hand, these employee benefits programs are vital for attracting, retaining, and engaging the key talent needed to run the businesses. Employees continue to place a very high value on employee benefits programs when they decide to join or stay with an organization. In fact, employees are now expecting more from these benefits plans and want their employers to address their broader and more diversified needs. As a result, organizations need to continue to provide these programs in order to be competitive in the market. So that gives us this double-edged sword. While employee benefits programs are a large and growing financial cost and have significant financial risks, organizations have never needed them more to attract and retain the right people to run the business. Here are some considerations that business leaders should think about when they're considering their benefits plans. Organizations should take a longer term view and develop a more formalized strategy to manage these plans. Or you can't effectively manage something unless you truly understand how it works. Organizations also need to assess how employee benefits fit within their broader people and business strategies. They should determine whether they want to be reactive and simply keep pace with the rest of the pack in the market, or be proactive and lead out with some innovative plan designs. Organizations also need to assess the needs and desires of a multi-generational workforce with varying needs and desires. Most importantly, organizations need to determine how the costs of employee benefit plans fit into their long-term business plans and whether there are specific financial targets or constraints they'll need to achieve each year. So where do you go from here? Well, one possibility is to attend my upcoming CPABC Professional Development Seminar, and that's being held on July 9th, 2025. The seminar has been developed to help participants better understand the current reality related to employee benefits, recognize this financial storm that is already here around the costs and risks, and help them develop strategies best suited to their unique needs at their organization. Through a combination of lecture and interactive surveys and discussions, the seminar helps participants better understand the area of employee benefits, the key cost drivers, and future trends impacting benefits, and also specific strategies to better manage them. Okay, you've heard my thoughts and opinions, so please let me know what you think. How does this compare to what you're hearing from your current advisor or other advisors in the market? And as always, I'm really interested to know if there are other current topics that you'd like to see me cover in future podcasts. Let me know what's bothering you, keeping you awake at night with respect to your employee benefits plan. Thanks for joining me today. If you're not doing so, be sure to follow me on my LinkedIn business page, and that's Dan Eisner, Employee Benefits Advisor, and you'll get a notification on the next Better Benefits podcast, and all that information will come up on the screen in a second. Thanks so much.